I don't understand. Yes, there you go, Chris. We're going live. I love technology. Chris, when it works, it's so beautiful. But when it doesn't, it's the most weirdest thing ever. Okay, my team is like, where are you? We are live. Hello, family. We're going to be logging on in just 2 seconds. I have an amazing show for you tonight. I'm so excited to have this amazing queen. I'm going to tell you all about her. Give me 2 seconds. We are live. Okay, this is the second thing that I want to do. I have this little check thing that I do, Chris, just to make sure that it shows up everywhere that it's focused. So first of all, let me hang up from...
Nobody could hear me because I was on mute. Can you hear me now?
Okay, now we can.
I can't hear you though, Chris. Are you on mute?
You cannot hear me?
No, I can't hear you. Yeah, you're on mute. Unmute. Yes, now talk.
Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Oh.
Hold on. I can't hear you.
That's
okay. We're going to work through these technical difficulties. Sometimes it happens. So while we're waiting, let's make the use of time. Cindy, thank you for saying you could hear us. Can you hear Chris? Cindy, can you hear Chris? Because I can't hear her. Oh, you know what? Here, check this out. Okay, do me a favor now. Talk, Chris.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Yes. Okay, yes, I can hear you. I hear you. Okay, I got this whole new system, it's working, and so I got to figure it out. It's a nice mic, and it has a whole setup thing with it, but I haven't figured out the technical difficulty, so it was me. It wasn't you. Chris.
Nice. Okay, all good.
Everybody, I'm so excited to introduce this queen, and I had to get dressed up in, I had to. I have a queen on board.
We had to show up for Wakanda. Awesome.
Yes, I had to do that. So now I'm going to go to Facebook and just make sure, Chris, that they can see us there. Yes, we are live. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. Okay, guys, hold on just 2 seconds for me. Make sure I don't trip over anything here. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Fit Live platform. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so honored to have this amazing queen on board. As everybody knows, and for those who don't, I need to reintroduce the platform because I just need you to understand why I created this platform. Primarily was to showcase the many amazing women of color that are out there killing the game. And everybody needs to know who they are and what they're doing and how they're doing it. And this queen is no exception. I can't wait to introduce her to you. But before we do, I'm going to go ahead and get started because my team's watching and they're going to make sure I dot all my I's and cross all my T's. So I got to make sure that I do all the right and appropriate introduction. So first and foremost, okay, Chris, this is where I always show my age because I got to see. This platform, Fit Live, is here to highlight both the journey and the success stories of professionals and entrepreneurs of color. We want to explore all the important and necessary information to help guide, inspire, and encourage all aspiring business owners or professionals of color. We here at Fit Live plan to equip you with specific concrete examples, tools, tips, and tricks to lead you toward your own success, not only in business, but in life, which beckons the question every time, are you ready to be fit? What is fit? What is fit? Fit is a mental construct. Fit stands for faith, intuition, and tenacity. Faith is your ability to believe in something you can't see. And we've been going through some turbulent times, you guys. And right now, you need to be able to know that whatever dream you have, if God put it inside of you, you can bring it to manifestation. Intuition, learning how to trust yourself, learning how to listen to that still small voice within you. And tenacity, the will to just go get it done. I'm here to bring to you not only the tools and resources you need, but to extend what we consider an arm, not a hand, not a handshake. We don't have handouts here. It's an arm. We're committed 100%. What is an arm, Cheryl? What is an arm? An arm is for access to resources, access to low-risk funding. The R is access to resources, and the M is access to mentorship. I'm bringing this queen and other queens to you so that you can get the mentorship that you need to be your most successful self. So with that said, and without further ado, let me have the honor and the privilege of introducing to you Dr. Chris Wachira. I'm going to read a little bit about her bio, and then I'll share my own personal experience of Dr. Wachira. Dr. Chris Wachira is a D, and I'm going to let you later on go through the acronyms for all of these, Dr. Wachira. But DNP, an RN, an MPA, an NEBC. She's a fellow Stanford Center for Innovation in Global Health, Neuroscience Clinical Outcomes at Stanford Healthcare. She's a founder and executive director for the Institute for Clinical Excellence in Africa. She's a founder and CEO of the Wachira Group, Wachira Wines, Soko Distributors, Soko Retail, Karibu Wine Lounge, which is amazing. We'll talk about that. WS Events and Concierge. She was born and raised in Kenya and now is a practicing doctor of nursing. And that's the DNP at Stanford Health in California. She brings a uniquely global perspective to her passion for equity and representation. Her clinical focus is on improvement of science, which identifies, resolves gaps, impacting outcomes and processes and systems. She is particularly passionate about addressing racial and gender-based disparities. When I returned to my love of science from Dr. Wachira into a business, I encountered my fair share of racial and gender-based challenges. I found that she founded the Wachira Group to address those hurdles, as well as the underrepresentation of women and minority-owned brands in the market. I created both a retail and distribution platform that bring wine, beer, and spirits produced by BIPOC, women, and local makers to the market. I want to just stop there because I can go on and on. And I think one of the greatest gifts that you have when you meet someone like a Dr. Chris Wachira is sharing your own personal experiences of not only what she does, but who she is. This amazing queen is really the epitome of what it means to be a strong Black woman. I walked into her space at Karibu, and the experience was not one of just walking into a winery. It was an experience where she brought California, Africa, the wine industry together, and the multicultural. It wasn't only Blacks there. It was a mix of people coming together to celebrate life. It takes a special person to do that. And Dr. Chris Wachira, it is such an honor. It's such a pleasure to have you. I just want to ask everybody, no matter where you are right now, please give Dr. Chris Wachira a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being amazing. And one of the rules I have here is, number one, tag a friend. The information that we're bringing is to uplift you, to empower you, to inspire you. This is not to be kept to ourselves. So please do tag a friend, tag somebody so that they can get the knowledge and wisdom of what she has experienced in her life's journey. In addition, I want you to grab a pencil, a pen, a piece of paper, take notes, make this interactive. This is not meant to be a monologue. It's meant to be a dialogue. So join the conversation. Get involved with us. We came to have fun. Come have fun with us. So Dr. Chris Wachira, thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. I'd like to start off like I ask every guest. Can I ask you the question? What are you passionate about?
Where do I start? So first of all, Cheryl, thank you so much. My goodness, your energy, your passion is infectious. So thank you for having me today. I'm excited. I'm thrilled to be here. Wow. What is my passion? Equity. Um, my world, I talk about is my world sort of it lives in that intersection of my gender and my race, right? So it is, and it's one of those things that I cannot work around. It's one of those things I cannot avoid. It is, so equity, that is one of my passions. And bringing whatever I have, whatever the knowledge, skills, and strengths that I have, bringing to those around me and those in my community, and helping uplift my community, and sort of, reaching back and pulling somebody along, or building sort of a wave that lifts all the boats together. So that is one of my, that is my passion.
Well, you are amazing. And I have been watching you and watching what you do, which I know is not easy. My platform, again, is about being mentally fit, faith, intuition, and tenacity. How have you applied faith in your journey of entrepreneurship?
Whew. Well, first of all, let me start by this. So I share this because it's important and it's foundational to who I am. First, as a healthcare professional, but also as an entrepreneur. I was born and raised in Kenya. And I share that to say that everybody around me when I was growing up looked like me. Everybody in positions of power, everybody in positions of influence, those that had and those that did not. Everybody around me looked like myself. So I grew up recognizing that if I did XYZ, I could attain ABC.
Right.
And so when I emigrated to this country, I suddenly realized, or this country made me realize, that I was a Black woman. And based on that, there were certain limitations or certain expectations that were or were not afforded to me, just based on the fact that I was a Black woman. I was designated a Black woman. And so I have had to learn, for one, and to reach deep within myself in moments of doubt to that foundational place that was instilled by my mother, my grandmother, and the women that raised me, to believe in myself and to have the strength and the tenacity and the grit to keep pushing through no matter what. So when I'm having a moment of doubt, or I experience a wall or a barrier or a hurdle that I need to jump, I again dig deep and reference those points within me. So I stand in my truth and in my sort of fortitude that I had given to me by those that raised me.
Oh, how many of us? It takes a village, right?
Absolutely.
It takes a village. And given as we navigate through this current climate that we're in, it's so relevant. And especially for those who choose to believe that there is not a such thing as racism, for those who choose to believe not a such thing as systemic racism. And for those of us who've lived it, it's like the two don't match. But if you've never lived it, then I can understand how you would never understand it. But let us that have lived it explain to you that it is real, and that we had to really dig deep to find a different way of being, to operate in a world that has not been receptive of us. But that's power. That's also our power. And when I think about you, I want to start off because I think everybody needs to know, Dr. Wachira, what do you do for a living? Well, I mean, you do a lot of things for a living, but you work with neuroscience, neurosurgery. Can you expand upon that so that people get a context of what you go through? Yes, please.
So I currently practice at Stanford Healthcare, and I practice a branch of science called improvement science, and it's a solution-based science. It's one of those sciences that looks at processes and systems and help to identify gaps, and help the clinicians. I work with neuroscience, so I work with neurosurgeons and neurologists to help them identify gaps in their practices or gaps in the process or the organization that, once we create a solution around, we can optimize an outcome. Now, what I like to talk about improvement science is the fact, so I practice it in healthcare, but it's one of those sciences that applies across industry, because when it comes to identifying gaps and solutions and optimizing outcomes, you can apply it anywhere in any industry, even in my own personal life, right? So I use a very sort of improvement science approach to tackling opportunities and gaps.
So awesome. So, which is a pretty unique thing that you're doing, because that's a holistic approach, right?
Absolutely.
Are you?
Absolutely.
Are there a lot of individuals that do what you do? Because I actually have never heard of it. I mean, and I think it's amazing and I think it's beautiful, but it just can be because I'm not in the health industry that I don't know.
So there are a whole there's a whole segment. I mean, it's been around for quite a while. It's a really broad part of the healthcare. Okay. But what happens is a lot of it is sort of folded into quality departments or improvement science departments, and so it ends up being under an umbrella of something else. And so unless you do run into somebody a practitioner of it specifically, then you wouldn't know that that's what it is. You probably hear about, a quality department or quality improvement. That is sort of the umbrella term for it.
Okay. So tell me, how did this person who does processes and really developing strategies for filling the gap get into wine?
Wow. See, wine for me is sort of a love affair of like so many different approaches. So when I migrated to California, I fell in love with wine country. So first of all, being an immigrant, not knowing too many people, when I started building friendships and relationships, I discovered the wine country. I discovered Napa and Sonoma, and sort of making those pilgrimages over there with my little group of friends over the weekends and doing wine tastings at the different vineyards and sort of, appreciating that sense of community around wine and the wine culture, right? And then I love the beverage. So I love wine. I fell in love with the California Chardonnay. That was my very first wine that I absolutely loved. And then the science part of it kicked in, and I started, curiosity around why does a Cabernet from this winery taste so different from a Cabernet from this other winery? Why does a Cabernet from Oregon and a Cab from, the Napa, California area, why do they taste so different? Like, what is the chemistry? What is the science behind it? And so those are the two main things that got me interested in the wine industry. And then a couple of years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago, I made a trip back to Kenya, my home country, and a group of friends and I went out to dinner, and they had an incredible wine list from wines from all over the world. So Kenya is Nairobi, the capital for Kenya, is a very metropolitan city. Right. And they had wines from all over the world on this wine list, but they did not have Californian wines. And so I got curious about that. And then again, so think about it this way. So I have the science and the curiosity of how do wines get made. And then I have this improvement science background. I'm like, hey, this is a gap. Okay, so and then I come back to California and I'm doing more wine tastings. And then I start noticing, I'm like, wait a minute. I can find wines that I can pair with my mother's cooking in the house or my own cuisine that I was born and raised on in the house. The wines are either underwhelming or overwhelming. And then I go back to Napa and I started looking around and just being a little bit more intentional about the person behind the counter doesn't look like me. And hey, this group of women got kicked off a wine train because they were verbose, they were too loud. And wait, how many African Americans actually own wineries and tasting rooms? I mean, so when I started digging into this industry and identifying all these gaps, I was just even more encouraged to get into it, to create that difference, to address that gap.
Wow. How amazing is that? So curiosity is what led you there. And then
Absolutely.
to look at it, really understanding like, where do we reside? Where are the people of color? Well,
Right.
that led you to creating your own wine. Do you manufacture? Can you tell us a little bit about like your wine? Do you manufacture your wine? Do you like what is, because quite frankly, first of all, everybody, I need to make an announcement. I love her wine. It's amazing. And I'm just telling it's just amazing. If you haven't tried it, you don't worry, we're gonna give you the website so that you can tap into. So please continue to share.
So yes, I do. I make my own wines. The only thing I don't do in the wine, sort of the wine continuum, is grow my own grapes. So I source my grapes, I crush them, and there are times when I purchase the juice that is already crushed grapes, and there are times I purchase the grapes themselves and crush them and barrel them. So I have 6 different varietals. I have 2 reds, a Cabernet, and a Zinfandel, and then I have a Muscat and a Chardonnay for the white. I have a rosé as well, and then a sparkling white as well. So I craft wines using what I call Californian wines with a Kenyan accent. I have my own sort of unique style of crafting wines because I like them to be sort of easy to drink, yet really good quality, like high quality. I was not going to compromise on quality. I wanted to have really good quality, high quality wines that were affordable, but they were also easy to drink. And what that means is, like my Cabernet and my Zin are going to have a little bit more fruit forwardness to them. So they're not going to be as tannic as your regular Cabs or Zinfandels. And then the other thing about my wines that's a little bit different is the Cabernet is actually lighter than the Zin, which is atypical. In most wineries, the Zinfandel is usually lighter than the Cabs because they tend to age the Cabs a lot longer and make them a lot bolder, and so a little bit more tannic.
Well, let me tell you, you definitely put the quality in, not only into the labeling, but the tasting. Your wines are amazing, and that cab is everything. I drank a glass last night. I just wanted to. I drank a couple of that. We're not going to talk about that. They were amazing, but your packaging is second to none. I didn't want to get rid of the box. I mean, I got the box. I was like, I gotta save this to use it for other things. But one of the things I want to ask, because especially being COVID, and there are a lot of our businesses that have really struggled. They've really been challenged with how do they continue to sustain themselves and grow in this new economy, this new space that we're in. And you are obviously a role model of that. How have you pivoted? How has, first of all, COVID impacted your business? And what did you do about it in order to navigate your way? Because you've been making moves, Queen. You've not allowed
Thank you.
to stop you. So they need to understand what did you do?
Well, so COVID definitely impacted my business. So in the beginning, in early 2020, and previous years before that, I would say about a good 80 to 85% of my business was sort of business to business, where I would sell my products to wine bars, restaurants, and then they would sell to their customers. And so when COVID happened, all that shut down. So in a span of about a month, and then I used to do a lot of pop-up events, right? I used to be at Jack London Square. I used to be in different wine and design, a lot of different spaces, just running pop-up shops and pop-up events. But at the beginning of COVID, by March 1st, all that dried up, all that sort of ground to a halt. So then I found myself with a negative 80% of my revenue, of my income. So I had to do something fast.
Negative.
Yes.
Did you hear that? 80% negative. Oh, please continue.
Right. So the one thing that sort of worked for me is I run a small operation. I'm not I'm not huge. I do a lot in this space, in this wine industry space, but I run a very tight ship. And so when you have a small ship, it's easy for you to get back to the drawing board, hunker down, and pivot and turn the ship, right? So there's not a lot of red tape. There's not a lot of back and forths. It's a small operation in a sense. And so that for me was one of my positives. The other thing is I already had an e-commerce site. I had a platform that I used to offer my products on. I was just not focused on it because I had all these other revenue generating sources, right? So then I just pivoted and made my e-commerce site my priority. And so then we started offering, pushing it, being just a little bit more intentional about getting out through technology, social media, YouTube, doing door-to-door deliveries. That's the other thing. We took that service. So we said running our own door-to-door, like free door-to-door deliveries. So things like that. We started running weekly sales that would, we would mark down, one of our varietals at $19.99 when we did that, religiously until, social media blocked us. But we did that and we reached out.
Social media blocked you?
Absolutely.
Why?
That's a whole different conversation because for whatever reason, there are those of us in this industry who cannot create an ad that purports to market the sale of alcohol. And I say that because we were blocked from marketing our weekly sales. And that rule does not seem to apply to everybody across the board because there are other bigger companies, larger corporations that seem to be able to do that on social media. Granted, there are relationships that are larger than my couple of dollars here and there can purchase.
I'm sorry. I have a problem with that altogether because we talk about often about as we were moving and as we were navigating, Chris. I'm just saying this. We are a collective and we are a team. And we have to call foul play where there's foul play. You can't allow one person to do something and not allow somebody else, especially for our small businesses. So if bigger corporations are allowed to market on social media, then why? I don't understand in this moment, and we don't have to go there, but I just don't understand why that would be a problem.
I don't understand it either, but I mean, there may also be, there may be extenuating reasons why that's possible for others and not others. There may be relationships, there may be policies, there may be. Then I just don't know. All I know is I could no longer do it. That's all I know.
But here's a beautiful thing, and I want everybody to take notes. This is where we start taking notes. This is where we start understanding how we grow. This is where we dig deep. First of all, Dr. Chris Wachira has been sharing some gems with us. She pivoted. She re-looked at her business and re-strategized about how she can get her product to market. And every time that they shut down a door, she had to recreate and figure out how to go around that door.
Absolutely.
I don't subscribe to why it was done, and I don't even understand the reason why. It don't sound fair to me. I'm just going to put it out there. I said it. You didn't. I said it. It doesn't sound fair. But I congratulate you for not allowing that to be a barrier for you. I thank you for that.
Sis, you're talking to somebody who came to this country with $500. There are not a lot of barriers that I don't know how to overcome. So I am here for the show. I'm here. I show up every day and I show up in my true authentic self and I work hard.
You too.
Yeah.
And I feel that. And right now in this moment, I'm feeling some emotion. But one of the things I want to say that I often say, Chris, that we as Black women are probably one of the least respected within this country. That's just a fact. And even as Black businesses, we continue to struggle. And even though it's so amazing to me why people don't understand the disparities that are out there, yet and still we keep fighting. No matter what, we rise.
Absolutely.
You can't hold us back. No matter what, we rise. You keep telling we can't, and we keep telling you we can. And the bottom line is that I want everybody here, number one, is to support this queen. Buy a bottle of wine. Buy at least one. We can communally come together to support each other. We don't have to allow anyone to stop us from our greatness. The greatness that resides in us. And I thank you.
Absolutely.
I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being the queen that you are. That's what a queen is. A queen is somebody who doesn't have the privileges of others, but still finds a way. We take the worst and make it into the best. And for that, I just congratulate you. I really do. I salute you. I salute you. And I love the fact that you continue to grow and you continue to push through and because you have a fantastic product. It's second to none. Your product is second. I've tried it. I have my own issues as far as perfection. We'll talk about that on another show. This is not this one. But the thing about it is I know quality when I see it. And I know when somebody has put their heart into something, and I know that to be true about you. So, but the thing about it is we don't have to get anything but joyous. Like Cindy, thank you. And Cindy is another amazing person. So it's why I'm looking forward to meeting you. Cindy is another amazing person that takes something and makes something magical. We are all in that lineage, and together we can do so much more than we can do separately. And this platform is about creating community with like minds, with people who think like we think and believe like we believe. And we don't have to put anybody down to be great. We can be great and include them. You can join.
Absolutely.
We're not putting up walls. We're not the ones putting up walls. We're opening doors. We're opening doors for you to join us. And you, what you're not telling everybody, and I need you to share a little bit about, is because, yes, you pivoted during this downtime. And Chris, you didn't just pivot, queen. You didn't just pivot. You didn't just pivot. You recreated. You transformed.
Yes, ma'am.
You took what most would, if the average person ever went through what we went through, I don't know that they could survive it. But we can take the least of things. Like I say, my mom, I'm gonna use this example. My mother can go in the kitchen, and where I'll look and I say, I don't see nothing. There's nothing there. She'll come back with a whole meal and it will be good. Please tell them right now. Please tell Chris about your lounge, because that came out of COVID. So obviously you didn't sit on your laurels, queen.
No, I did not. And I want to tell this story, but I want to tell it from a different perspective, because I had somebody ask me the other day, what was I not afraid? Weren't I afraid of trying to launch a business during COVID, trying to open a lounge during COVID? So I did open a tasting room. It's in downtown Alameda. It's smack right in the middle of Park Street at 1419 Park Street in Alameda. And yes, I was afraid. I was scared. I'll tell you that. But you can use fear to hold you captive, or you can use it to fuel you and to drive you and to motivate you and to push you past the huddle, over the huddle, beyond that wall. And so that's what I did. Again, I built out this tasting room, staying true to who I am. I am Kenyan American. That is my dual heritage. And I wanted to build a space that if you walked in, regardless of what your heritage was, whether you were Kenyan or you were American, whether you're white, pink, purple, or in between, you would walk into this space and feel welcome. Because when I came into this industry, I loved the sense of community that this industry represented. The wine culture had that sort of sense of community, but there were certain limitations within that based on who you are. There were places you could go into, there were places you could belong to, there were places that if you didn't speak a certain way, you would feel unwelcome, you would feel intimidated, you would feel like you would not be able to participate in some of these spaces. I wanted to have a space where you would walk in and be authentically you and be comfortable and enjoy the wine. I also wanted to build a space where I would be able to, again, creating that wave that lifts all boats, right? That tidal wave that lifts all boats. I would be able to have a space that would welcome other small batch crafters of wine like myself that do not have distribution, but because the large name distributors are not interested in small batch crafters like we are. And I also, if you have space for that, I'll speak to that too. But I have this space that allows me to showcase these other winemakers of color, women and locals, who make wines in small batches. And so I'm able to bring them to market. I'm able to introduce consumers, wine consumers, to these wines that are amazing, but are otherwise unknown or little known because they're just not in markets across the country. And so it's a space that welcomes you as a customer, regardless of what your heritage is or where you're from or what your keen or what your wine level is. But it's also a space that welcomes other makers of color, women, and local.
Right. Oh my God. You guys, she just dropped so much wisdom on us. And I am just so honored because I think there is something that needs to be said and resaid and said and resaid until it is integrated in our mind in such a way that we break through barriers. And you use the word fear. And people asked you in the beginning if you were fearful or not. Fear is false evidence appearing real. I don't care what anybody tells you. I don't care what anybody puts any limitations on you. I don't care if the world never acknowledges, quite frankly, if racism exists. I'm a Black woman, and I'm going to tell you. If you want to know, I'm going to tell you my personal experience, and I can bring 100,000 women that will tell you the same. And if you don't believe it from there, there's nothing I can do to convince you that that's a fact. There's nothing that I can do. But here's the thing, I'm not here to convince anybody anymore. We unapologetically move forward. And Chris, the beautiful thing is you didn't allow fear or some of the limitations, all the limitations that surround us that want to tell us that we can't. You're not good enough. You're not capable. You're not smart enough. You can't possibly consider yourself to be on the trajectory to become a millionaire. You can't possibly start your own business because you don't have the capital. Did you just not say a few seconds ago you came from Kenya with $500? Did you not tell me that I'm a real good listener? And I think I just heard you say you came here with $500. But
yes, you did.
And I want to say what that says to me and what it should say to our listeners is you can do all things when you believe. You can do anything when you believe. And it's not to say that you won't have battles or you won't have scars or you won't have to go through something or that you won't have to push through anything. But here is the key, Chris. And you said it earlier, even in the introductory, it takes a village. This platform
absolutely does.
Your village. I'm creating your village. I'm creating the community in which we can rise together. We no longer have to ask for permission. Collectively, we can accomplish our goals. I believe, Chris, one of my greatest sheroes is Harriet Tubman. And I'm sure I would love to hear yours too. I would love to hear yours. One of my greatest heroes is Harriet Tubman. And I love Harriet so much because she created the Underground Railroad, because she didn't allow a system that existed for slavery to stop her from getting to her freedom. And matter of fact, what I love is her boldness, because she went back. She could have just freed herself. But she didn't. She went back and freed others. And that mindset of what you're creating with your business is the same mindset. The mindset that I have in creating this platform is the same mindset. The mindset of the listeners that are chiming in, that are starting their business and looking for people like us that they can connect to be inspired and enriched and know what's possible. If you guys don't believe me, please do. Go to the Caribou Lounge. Go. Experience it for yourself and then tell me about it. Tell me about.
I was gonna tell you, Shara, because I see you just shared the address. Thank you for doing that. It's 1419.
Okay, I put the wrong address. Okay, let me correct that.
1419. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Because
appreciate that.
It's 1419.
1419.
Okay, I want to make sure I get it right, please.
Thank you.
I sometimes can't chew and chew gum and walk and talk at the same time, but I'll try. But here goes.
No, you do it well, sis.
I love the fact of us here having a really honest conversation about the challenges, because if we're not going to be authentic, why even come on this platform? If we're not going to be authentic,
right,
speak our truth, then why even be here today, Chris? I can't wait to partner with you. You already know what I'm up to and what I'm creating and who I'm going to be introducing you to and you introducing me. And I invite everybody who's with the listening ear, whether you're listening now or you choose to listen later, whenever you tap in, understanding we are building a community. And that community are like-minded individuals that are here to do nothing but support you and help you engage you to the next level. And Chris, is there anything I can tell you? Want to add something? You want to add something? I just did this. I'm going to put the correct.
I was just going to mention speak to SoCo distributors and why I felt the need to build a distribution network. So the Wachira group, as you mentioned in the beginning, it has different entities under it, and every single one of those entities addresses sort of the diversity gap in the industry, in this alcohol industry. And so Wachira Wines, specifically being the only Kenyan American winery in the country, brings that sort of authentically African, Kenyan sort of voice and flavors to the wines in California. Then SoCo distributors, what it did for me was when I came into this industry, I could not find somebody to distribute my wines. So I was good enough. I felt like the industry was telling me, okay, you're good enough for this little, pop-up shop here and this little festival like Jack London Square, but that's about it. Like, just don't get too ambitious now. So I tried to get into different distribution networks, and I was just not considered, large enough or big enough to be, even considered by these, big corporations. And so what I did is, again, identifying that gap in the market, I went back to my drawing boards and I said, hey, there's a collective of us who are all the same. We are small batch crafters. I'm going to create a platform that allows us to get our products to market, because together as a unit, we have strength and we have power. And that's what SoCo has done, is that it has created that marketplace for folks, for makers of color, women, and locals who are small batch crafters. We have a huge announcement that's going to be coming early summer. That's coming. So it's gotten to the point where it's noticeable, and we have larger corporations that are actually now noticing us and working with us and partnering with us. But again, to your point, Cheryl, it's about that village. When you stand alone, there's that African saying, right? If you want to go a couple hundred, whatever, go alone. If you want to go far,
go together.
Go together, absolutely. Right? And that's what we're doing, is we're working together, building that village. My husband so eloquently says we're going to be the Wakanda of alcohol under SoCo distributors. That's what we're working towards. So it's been an awesome journey so far in this industry. But then again, I could not have done this by myself. I have an incredible team, and I have incredible support, folks like yourself, Cheryl, that have been able to bring my voice to folks that did not otherwise know about me or know about our products or what we're doing or what we're trying to do. Because again, we can't make it on our own. We all do it together.
Oh my God. Chris, I don't want to cry because it's gonna mess up my whole makeup thing that my daughter did for me. It's gonna mess up. But I swear, I just want to cry. I want to cry tears of joy because I think the conversation is needed and it's necessary. And one of the things that you said, as a collective, we can do anything. As a community,
Absolutely.
we can support each other. We contribute over $1.7 trillion to this economy. Don't you think that that doesn't count? Our dollars count. Our dollars count, and how we use them count.
Absolutely.
I see organizations that are truly making an effort to bridge the gap. I have people on my team that are not Black, that really do get it. And as a matter of fact, my advisory board is amazing. It's amazing. So there are, so I don't exclude anyone. But what I say is we're not waiting for anyone to give us permission anymore. We're not waiting. We have an opportunity and we can support each other. You have a choice where you spend your money. You can go to Bevmo. I'm not saying nothing's wrong with Bevmo. Or you can go to Wachira Winery directly. Or you can go to any of the other places that are really dedicated to making a difference and supporting our community. My community means everything to me. And I make no apologies about that. I've lived my life uplifting my community, and I'm not going to stop now. And it gives me so much joy. It gives me so much joy to be with you today. It gives me so much joy to hear your story, to hear your struggles, but more importantly, to hear how you overcame them, what you're doing to navigate through them, and anything that I can do to be a voice for you, anything that I can do to be a channel for you, anything that I can do to help, as my logo up here says, connect the dots. And that's what I am here to do. That's what I'm here to do. And I'm here to do for you. And Dr. Chris Wachira, you are amazing. You are amazing. And if anybody hasn't told you that, let me be the first. And I want to say to everybody who's listening here today, I'm going to say it to you again, that it is time for us to raise the bar. It is time for us to raise our voice. It is time for us to join in community. Your sister, there is a passage, I don't know where it comes from. Chris, you can share it with me, but tell me, I am my sister's keeper.
Yes.
I am my sister's keeper. The buck stops with me. I don't have any other agenda. I don't have any other goal other than promoting my sisters and letting the world see the beauty that's inside of them and what they're creating in the marketplace. If you are a person who is not of color that is listening to this now, first of all, I want to say thank you for listening. Secondly, I want to invite you to visit Caribou Lounge at 1419 Park Street in Alameda. I want to invite you to equally support this amazing business. Then I want you to tell me what you thought. I want you to tell me how much you enjoyed that Cabernet. I want you to tell me how much you enjoyed the champagne, which she didn't even talk about. I don't know, did you talk about the champagne? Because the champagne,
I talked about it. I call it sparkling wine because it's not crafted in Champagne, France. It's a sparkling
wine. The sparkling wine. Please do, and let me know your thoughts. I firmly believe this is a platform about community, but community is about us joining together. It's not about exclusion. We're not trying, for me, and the platform that I'm creating is about inclusion. And while I promote Black women, it's because we don't have a platform that does that. And by no means am I ever excluding anybody. I welcome your thoughts. I welcome your feedback on what you think about Dr. Chris Wachira. Isn't she amazing? It's okay.
Thank you, Cheryl.
It's absolutely amazing. So as we go through, Dr. Wachira, we got 10 minutes. And I am a firm believer in making sure that I honor the time that we have and really make the most of it. But if you could right now give advice to the entrepreneurs or even professionals out there, if you could give a bit of advice Dr. Crystal, I feel like coming to your place now. Are you at your lounge right now? I might be on. I would like to ask you, what advice would you give them?
Well, wow. I think the one thing I'd like to share, and I have my little cat that's threatening to walk into this conversation.
Your
I'm
cat?
trying to distract him. I have a cat.
Mom, we like cats. I love cats. The cat can come.
He's trying to get a moment too.
Yeah.
But if I could share one thing, I think for me it's the power and the value of authenticity, being true to who you are. There is only one you. If you try to be anybody else, you will fail each time. Each time. So there's only one you. Imagine how powerful, unique, and amazing that is. So stand in your truth, stand in the strength of who you are as an individual, and represent that in its full, true, authentic self. And you will find that those that are for you, because not everybody is for you, no matter how hard you try, those that are for you will appreciate that authenticity, and they will always be for you. Right? And the other thing is we're living in such extraordinary times, and there's so much going on that is dissuading and is distracting and can also make us paralyzed in fear.
Yes.
And that's why I spoke to fear earlier, because I want to make it clear that it's not that I am not afraid. I am afraid. I just choose to channel that differently, right? And every time you are afraid of something, you're afraid of doing something, challenge yourself in spite of it to try to overcome that. Because what you're building is muscle memory. So you will always have a reference point for that you overcame and how you did that. And you can always refer to that, however small. Whether it's you want to take on, exercise, you want to walk 10 extra miles every day, whether you want to change your lifestyle, whether you want to try a new business venture, just overcome one little thing at a time and use that muscle memory to reference each time you come across a new hurdle.
Oh my God, I think that's one of the best advice you could have ever given. And also just really what I take away from that and how it resonates with me is that wherever you are in life is an opportunity for growth.
Absolutely.
It's an opportunity to learn. If we take our lessons as such and not personalize them, and not begin to internalize them, where we start to create compartments within our body where we have this luggage that sits in our body, because over time what that happens to do is make you sick. It has to stagnate you, question yourself. It does all the things that work against you. However, if you take one step at a time, and when you're faced with it, there's gonna be another challenge behind it. That's life.
It's life.
Embrace that, but embrace the beauty of it. Because everything that's brought to you is an opportunity for you to learn and grow. And one of the beautiful things that I love about Black women and color that I see as a common thread is our ability to overcome in spite the challenges, our ability to love, our ability to truly just transcend the boundaries that have been placed around us. But I know all the women that have, and even in your journey, you said it, is about the relationships that you cultivate.
Absolutely.
And she said it earlier, there's an old African adage, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, it's time for us to go together. It's time for us to come together in community. It's time for us to not look for others to give us permission to shine. Shine already. Be your most amazing self. I didn't ask for permission to create this platform. And I can tell you the response I'm getting is overwhelming. Sometimes it has me in tears, Dr. Wachira, because I'm just doing what I love and what I feel I was called to do. And what I feel I lacked In my journey, when I was going through corporate America, I didn't have a community that I could rely on. And I'm not just talking about a group of 5 girls. I'm talking about creating a community. That's what I'm doing here. It's beyond the 5 girls. I want to create cities and states and countries and
that international sisterhood and brotherhood of
exactly. My goal is to
support.
reach 50 million women this year. I'm not playing with y'all. 50 million women. And I can't do that alone. 50 million women, really? But I can do it. And you know how I do it? When you chime into the station and make it a practice to understand and learn, grow, glow, learn from Dr. Chris Wachira. Her time is valuable. For me to get her on this platform to spend an hour with you telling her story is valuable. What do you do with the information? Do you disregard it? It's another conversation that's being had on the internet? I think not. I think there's power in what she's saying. She's not talking about it. She's living her dream. She's living it. I keep telling you, go back here and you could, if you don't believe me, just go right here. You don't believe me? Go check her out, see what she's doing. And that's not even the beginning of what she's doing. She just told you she created a wine and she didn't have the distribution channels. So she created those. She didn't have the connection. So she created what she didn't have. She didn't let her nothing stop her from the vision, ultimate vision of reaching her goal. And she said she had a special announcement. I can't wait to hear what it is. I can't wait to be a support of that. I brought over 20 women from 19 different countries when I was a part of the GWLN organization as executive director. Those women and the stories that they told me was so powerful. And it's time that they be rewarded. I'm not talking about in smoke and mirror. I'm talking about in reality. And we are the ones that get to do that. We really are the ones. So I welcome everybody to join. I want to know, are there any questions out there? We have 4 minutes. Nobody asked this amazing queen any questions. So while we're waiting for questions, I want to ask you. And Virginia S. Rayner, hi, hon. That's my cousin. She said, thank you. Order her wine, Virginia. Order her wine. What is your website?
Wachira. So wachirawines.com. Wines with an S at the end.
Okay. I think I got it right. Wachira Wines. Do you see that? Wachira Wines.
Yeah, you got it right.
I need you guys to show me proud and really support this queen. I am all believer of supporting our Black-owned businesses. This is Small Business Week, and this is an opportunity for us to really make a dent and really show our appreciation for people out here who are continuing to try. They can't do it without us. It takes a.
And we have that Mother's Day special going on right now.
Okay. Oh my God.
The sparkling white and a muscat. So an official wine of Wakanda and a sparkling white for $39.99. So you get 2 of them for $39.99.
My cousin said, okay, yes, she's going to go do encourage each of you to do the same. I really do believe in the village and that we collectively can do anything if we desire. As you know, Dr. Chris Wachira, I also serve on the Oakland African American Chamber of Commerce as the vice chair. And it is an honor because I know you're also a member. It is an honor.
I am. Yes, I am a very proud member of the chamber.
Yes, it is a very it is my honor and privilege to have you. It's my honor and privilege to have you for a couple of different reasons. And I want to be transparent. One, you represent Kenya. You represent Kenya. And I think one of the things that we need to do as we collectively spread the word about who we are is that there is this mental image in the media that Kenya is a third world country and looking at us is not as a thriving country that is doing great things. Poverty exists everywhere. Make no mistake about it. But there are some amazing things happening in Africa that we need to know about. And if you don't
Absolutely.
know, be led to believe something that's just not true.
I
Anything
find that very fascinating. I'll tell you something, Cheryl. I find that very fascinating, and I know it's the politically correct term for it, but third world does not apply to me, does not work in my vocabulary, because there's only one world as far as I'm concerned. That's the geography class I attended. I'm not sure where that comes from. But yes, you're absolutely right. And I've been very, very intentional to showcase that side of my Africa as I know it, because you're absolutely correct. There is poverty across the world. There are wars, there is crime, there is poverty, there's disease, there's hunger, there's all that stuff across the world. It's not isolated, it's not unique to my African continent, it's not unique to Kenya. It's anywhere and everywhere. And I choose to be very intentional about communicating and showcasing the beauty that is this country of Kenya and the continent of Africa. And I will show up every day and represent for my dual Kenyan American heritage any day, every day.
Oh my God, I feel so honored. I don't know. Listen, the girls are buying, girl. I just want you to know.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Buying. My girls are buying, but guess what? I'm going to stock up again too. But I'm just gonna come down there and get mine. I'm just gonna really just
okay.
Come down, so that I can have a glass of wine. And I love the lounge. The lounge is so energetic. The vibration is good. The flow is good. The community is good. There is so many great. Oops, sorry about that. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry about that.
It's all right.
When you are, multitasking, you have your kids and my mother and everybody. They know I do this every week, Dr. Chris Wachira. Every week they know I do this, but they call me anyway. But I love them. I'm so lucky to have them.
You.
What I want to say to you right now is, from my heart to yours, I appreciate you. I honor you. I thank you for being authentic, sharing your truth, sharing your challenges, but knowing that you have a village behind you that believes
you. Oh
in
my gosh.
what you can do to continue to uplift you and make introductions, offer you at any of the events that we're having. We will do that. In support.
I so appreciate you.
And together we can do anything. So I want you to know I got you. I got you. I got
Thank you, sis. Thank you.
And in my 50 million women march, you already know you're there. Together. And I can't wait to share with you once we get it together. I can't wait, because it's all good. And the people that are lining up through introductions, through my good friend Marcia Nelson, who's introducing me to some of the most amazing people that are out there we're going to be having on the platform that I told you about today, Butter, and the history behind it. So many amazing things to share with you. I want to say to the platform, I honor you and I appreciate you for showing up every week for me to listen to these amazing stories. Please do subscribe to my YouTube, like my Instagram. My goal is to reach 150 million. I just raised the bar. My goal is to reach 50 million women this year. I can only do that through you. And your support means everything to me. Log onto my website, subscribe to my newsletter. We are introducing great things. Listen to my blog. We got great information, all for helping you to be your most amazing self. We have programs that are coming out where we're going to be giving away grants that will help you in your business. So this is a platform that you definitely want to tap into. And again, I want to say my cousin gives you a round of applause. All the family who has been listening, I want to thank you. Is there anything else? As a matter of fact, I've said it, but Dr. Wachira, why don't you say in your own words, how can we support you? How can I support you? How can the family and the community support you?
And the team support me. So thank you for having these conversations and having these platforms and inviting us to this platform so we can we can share our stories and we can tell, folks what we're doing and what's going on behind the scenes, right? But then there's this website, wachirawines.com. Visit it. We have wine club memberships that you can join and continuously support our wine company, our winery.
And come closer because you
If,
just went dim, like your voice.
did
Okay.
I? So wachirawines.com is the e-commerce site, and we have wine clubs that you can join and be part of the membership of this club. Help us sustain our winery and our winemaking. Show up at Caribou Lounge if you live in the Bay Area, and show some support. We'll be happy. We'll be super excited to meet you and to see you and to serve you. So thank you so much, Cheryl. Thank you for having me.
And thank you.
Really, really do appreciate you.
And here's a big virtual hug. And thank you. And I'm so happy to wear. I can't wait to continue to add on to my wardrobe these amazing, beautiful outfits and fashion representing our beautiful country. So thank you, Queen, and know that you are so appreciated. I can't wait to have you back. More to come, you guys. This is not the end. This is the beginning. So thank you, thank you for joining. Keep shining, Dr. Kristen. You're doing amazing. Keep shining.
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless
All
everybody.
right.
Take care.
Good evening.